Hi, and welcome to this nice short practice designed to relieve some of that tension that you may experience through the neck and shoulders. And sometimes that is simply because we've slept funny, sometimes it's because we've reached for something and the neck or the shoulder's gone into a little bit of a spasm. Sometimes it's simply because we're under a little bit of stress. So this practice will hopefully relieve some of that tension and get your neck and shoulders moving a little freer. So I'm going to start sitting on a block. You can sit in a chair if that's more comfortable for you. We're going to begin with connecting in with the breath and trying to create a three-dimensional expansion. And this three-dimensional expansion is really going to help us utilize more of the diaphragm. It's going to take that work out of the accessory muscles, which are all situated in the neck and shoulders, so that we can create a sense of relief for that area. So if you've got a band, use a resistance band or a strap, or it could just be a skipping rope or anything that is kind of band-like that you can wrap around your rib cage. And just a soft cross in front, you don't need to tie it in a knot. Relax your shoulders and then either soften your gaze down towards the ground or you can close the eyes completely. Just so that you can bring all of that awareness, the arrows of attention in, and start to focus in on the breath. Now, using the feedback of the strap as a guide, can you start to send your breath awareness into the back body so that you feel the back of your rib cage expand into the strap and the sides of your ribs expand into the strap. And then see if you can start to slow down the rhythm of the breath. And perhaps even make that exhale slightly longer than the inhale, maybe 2 counts longer. Or if it feels comfortable, it could be even twice as long. Often if we're using the accessory muscles to breathe, i.e. the neck and the shoulders, it is going to create a little bit more tension in the neck and the shoulder region. We will also most likely be breathing a little shallower, a little faster, which is going to activate more of our sympathetic nervous system, which will put again more tension into the muscles. So as you slow down your breath rhythm and create this three-dimensional expansion, just notice how there might be a natural softening, natural relaxation that's occurring through the neck and the shoulders. And trying to keep the upper torso relaxed. The breath moving into the back and the sides. You might even sense a subtle movement of the spine, a subtle movement into flexion and then into extension. And see if you can keep that awareness in the back body. Just release the strap down. I'm going to do a little bit of resisted stretching for the neck. So I'm going to imagine that it's this side of my neck that has the issue. And you can choose whichever side that you're going to work with for this practice. So take the hand onto the side of the face. Put a little bit of pressure of the hand against the head against the hand, and then turn your head towards your hand. So you're rotating around, but the hand is providing a little bit of resistance. Then release and come back to face forward. And do that again. Press into the hand, rotate around to the side. And release and come back. And just do that a few more times. And it doesn't have to be a huge amount of resistance, particularly if you are feeling a little bit achy or spasmy in the neck. You just want it enough that you can feel that there is that kind of counter resistance happening, but not so much that you're starting to then grip and create other kind of issues. Good. And then pause with your head to the side. Create that opposite and equal force, so what we call an isometric contraction. This is also really good for releasing the body's analgesia or pain relief. And now your hand is going to win to turn the head back around, and your head is going to be resisting. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge amount of resistance. You can take the head slightly past center. And then release the tension, turn back around to the side, create resistance, and turn. Use your hand to turn the head. The head is resisting. Going slightly past the center, releasing and resetting. So what we're doing here is working through the eccentric phase of the muscle contraction, which is creating that sense of safety for the nervous system, which helps the muscle spindles to also relax. Good, one more. And then release the hand down and just turn your head. Notice how it's feeling. You might have a pretty good range of motion, and then turn to the other side so you've got that little bit of comparison. So turning to the left for me is much more limited than it is to the right after that little release. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're just going to do the one side, but know that you could pause and just repeat that on the other side if you would choose to. The next thing we're going to work on is a little bit of somatic work to reset the muscle spindles. So you can move your blocks out of the way and lie yourself down on your back and bring your feet onto the floor, roughly hip distance apart, not too wide. And then take a little turn of the head from side to side just to notice how the rotation feels. Notice any stickiness in that rotation. And then bring the head back to the center. Make goalpost or cactus position with your arms, pointing your fingers straight up towards the sky. As you breathe in, take the hands, rock them back, so the backs of the hands come towards or maybe even touch the floor. At the same time, to create a little arch through the spine, so you're drawing the lower back away from the floor. Then as you exhale, you're going to bring the hands all the way up and towards the ground the other way, so the palms come down. Push into the feet, curl the tailbone towards the knees, and just lift the hips about a couple of centimeters, not too far. And then again, backs of the hands come to the floor. You come into a little arch through the spine. Just make it really easeful. And then hands come down, palms towards the floor as you curl and lift the hips just away from the floor, not too much. And just repeat this a few more times. So it's not so much about getting the hands to the floor as just finding a nice easeful internal and external rotation through the arms as your spine moves from extension into a little bit of flexion, a little bit of lift through the hips. Good, and then bringing your hips to the floor, the backs of the hands to the floor into that cactus position. And start a little windshield wiper of the legs from side to side. Just going nice and slowly so that you can feel the roll of the pelvis against the floor, the roll of the feet against the floor, that transfer of weight. And just notice the head might be naturally wanting to turn one way. And if it is, you can start to accentuate that turn. And if it's not wanting to turn, just choose a way and start to turn your head. So it could be opposite to the knees, it could be the same as the knees. No right or wrong, just notice what you've chosen. And then see if you can switch it up. So if you were going opposite, go the same as the knees and see what that feels like. And if you were going the same, you're going to go opposite and notice what it feels like. And then come back to the center. And take your left palm towards the ground and right palm stays up, so you're in internal and external rotation. And then let the knees drop one side, the head drop the opposite way. And you can choose again which way you make this happen. And then switch, so the arms switch, the legs switch, the head switches. And then repeat this a few times. So just notice whether you've got the head going opposite to the knees, whether you're doing internal or external rotation with the arm that's going the same as the knees. And then see if you can switch it up, so make your arms do something opposite to what they were doing with the knees. And if you're getting confused, it's also part of the process, don't worry, just kind of play around with different options through the arms, through the legs. Good, and then come back to the center. Just release your arms alongside you, and again turn your head from side to side and just see if there's a little bit more ease with the rotation. And then come back to the center, grab one of your blocks and place it underneath your head, underneath the occiput, so right where the base of the skull meets the neck. And then rest the weight of your head on the edge of the block and start to gently turn your head from side to side. So as you turn your head from side to side, you'll notice there's some knobbly areas, maybe some tender spots, and a lot of muscles that feed up into this area, the trapezius, the levator scapula, the suboccipitals. And if you find a tender spot or a place that you want to hover for a moment, you might just rest there. Try and lengthen your exhalation, and maybe even draw little micro circles with your nose. So you're just providing a little bit more myofascial release to that area. Stimulating the Ruffini receptors, which just help the nervous system to chill out, the muscles to relax. And maybe taking the head somewhere else, finding another point. Relaxing the body, relaxing the head, maybe drawing in some little circles again. Maybe finding a couple more spots or simply just slowly turning the head from side to side. And just choosing whatever feels the best for you. The most important thing is that you're finding that deep state of relaxation, so just really allowing the weight of the head to rest on the block. And bring the head back to the center. And take the block out. Just release your head back down to the ground. You may want a little bit of height behind the head, so you could simply roll up your mat a little bit, or maybe even put a blanket underneath the head so that the chin is nicely tucked. Ideally, if you can get the back of the neck supported as well, even better. And finding enough of a roll through the mat or with your blanket that the head and the neck feel supported, and then drop your knees in towards center. Again, start to access the breath in the back body, feeling the back ribs expand, the side ribs expand. And just letting your body rest here so it can integrate all of that work we've just done. Bringing you back to that place of homeostasis, where the healing, the repair functions of the body are at their optimum. You can rest here for as long as you would like. Just knowing that this practice is always there for you whenever you need to come back and revisit, releasing some of that tension that we can hold through the neck and the shoulders. And thank you for practicing with me. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.